If you are in a relationship and it seems as if you have hit bottom, it seems as if you're just constantly going through the back and forth, the um, having to deal with disrespect, having to deal with cheating over and over and forgiving, and it's being thrown back into your face every time. If you're a woman and you're in that kind of relationship, you will have to be the one to leave. Men don't leave relationships just like that. It's very, very rare that a man will end a relationship, will go through the trouble of breaking up with his partner. That is rare. And when that happens, it has to really come down to the crunch, 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 crunch. A man would be more willing to take your life than to end a relationship. And if you look at what's happening around you now in society, the rate at which men are ending women's lives rather than just walking away, a lot of times they end the women's lives and they end up taking their own lives kind of like as an afterthought after the fact, and then the reality of it sinks in and then they do that. But initially their plan was to just remove this woman. She has become an inconvenience rather than end it officially. And sometimes they can't deal with the fact that if it's a marriage or if they have kids together, he can't deal with the fact that this woman is going to get a portion of what he thinks of as his belongings. He's not remembering that she has invested in the relationship as well. Her labor, her even financially, she might have invested in. So he's just thinking, oh, she wants to take my money, and refusing to accept that this woman has been your partner. She has invested. It's also hers. She's entitled to it. Some men cannot live with knowing that this woman is going to take half of what is theirs. And that is just logical. You built with this person. So if you're separating, why not split it in half? Why is that so difficult to deal with? Also, a lot of men struggle with the idea of their woman, because I think men men possess women like things, like women are things. Men tend to I generally think that women focus on relationships and men focus on possessions. That's what it seemed like to me. And the women in their lives is like they are possessions to them. And even when it gets to the point where this relationship is not working, they cannot bring themselves to think of their possession, their woman, moving on and going to be with another man. A lot of men cannot cope with that. They would rather end your life, which might inevitably mean that they are going to end their lives too, but they're not thinking about that in the initial moment. They're just thinking, if I can't have her, nobody else will have her. So let me just do away with her. When the consequences of that become a reality to them and they see that, then they might decide, okay, I might as well end myself too. But that's not the initial thought. The initial thought is, this woman belongs to me, and if it's not working out for us, then she needs to go. So what's and if he's not thinking about ending you, what he's more likely to do is to just string you along. Just string you along. Meanwhile, he has moved on. You don't know this. He has moved on. He's probably well neck deep into another relationship or other relationships going on quite strong. He's getting his satisfaction, he's getting his needs met, and he will string you along, oblivious to all of this, rather than just be man enough, be adult enough, be respectful enough to say, okay, this is not working for either of us. Let's both move on. I'm going to seek my happiness elsewhere, and I wish you the same. You go and seek your happiness elsewhere. No. Men will hold on to their options because you are an option to him. He's exploring his other options and he's trying to get satisfaction and enjoyment and happiness and everything. All his needs checked off from whoever else, either the one other person or several other persons. He's getting those needs met. He's not thinking that, okay, this my partner is here. If I'm spending so much time with other people, that means I'm neglecting her needs. But he's not thinking about that. He's not thinking about, okay, I'm neglecting her needs. I'm not able to be with her enough, spend quality time with her, take care of her needs. Let her go so she can go and seek what she needs. No, he holds on to you because he doesn't, in case it doesn't work out with whoever else he's chasing or whoever else he's dealing with, when that becomes stale or that becomes sour, he wants to know that you are still an option. You are still there to come back to. And maybe you're going to be a therapist at that time because, unbeknownst to you, he's going to be needing therapy for the damage that he has caused over there. He needs therapy to get over that, and you're going to be helping him to get over that unknowingly. So you are an option, and he's not going to give up that option. So men will string you along. And when I say string you along, I don't just mean for days and weeks, I mean for months, for years. They will be ambiguous in the things that they say to deliberately confuse you, to mislead you, to keep you hoping, keep you holding on to that one day or maybe, without being plain and straight and solid about what are your intentions, what are your plans, how are we moving forward. Men will string you along for years and years and years while your life is on hold, and yet he is over here living his best life, meeting all his needs. That's the typical behavior of men. So more than like, and I had a conversation with a guy many years ago, and I don't know if it's something that he made slip, or he was saying it just for the shock value, or he was just taking pride in the fact that he's able to do this. But what he said to me was, if, and this is someone who he had several women, and that's just his lifestyle. He had several women. And he said, well, if I ever want to end a relationship with a woman, I will never break up with her. Because you see, men don't want that responsibility of being the one. They don't want the shame. They don't want people to look at them and say, oh my God, you were in such a good thing and you ended it. They don't want to have to deal with that. So they rather, he said, I would frustrate her until she leaves. That's what a man said to me. He said, if I want to move on, I'm tired of this now, I want to move on, I will never say we're breaking up. I will never be the one to end the relationship. What I will do is to frustrate her until she leaves. A man said that to me. He said, I will do everything that I know she doesn't like. I will start arguments. I will do whatever I know will cause her to become angry, to become, to start an argument, to do whatever. And in doing so, eventually she will just leave. And then the blame is on her. Because men don't do well with blame. They don't do well with accountability. They don't do well with people looking at them and say, how could you do that? So they prefer for the woman to take the blame. The song Erykah Badu called Tyrone. There's a line in the song where she said, listen, you can tell them it's all my fault. I'll take the blame, right? You can tell them it's all my fault. It's okay. That is something that men love to do because they cannot bear blame. They cannot take the responsibility to say, well, I was the one who messed up. I'm the one who caused the relationship to end. The woman has to take that. So they would rather frustrate you to the point where you leave. And then they say, well, she left. She left. I didn't break up with her. She left. Well, if you have to take the blame, like Erykah did, let them just take the blame. Call Tyrone, and you take the blame. Because if you don't, he's just going to string you along. You're going to be forever frustrated, forever sad, forever stalling your life without being able to progress. So sometimes you just have to cut your losses and move on, even if it means you have to take the blame for ending the relationship. Just move on, because more than likely that man will not be the one to call it quits. He will not be the one. He doesn't want that on his name. Okay? So if it means you have to take the blame for it ending, go ahead, take the blame, move on with your life, and don't wallow and don't allow people to make you waste your time